Well, hello there, motherfuckers. I got a lot of mixed opinions about this show, mixed feelings. I don't really know how to feel about it. I will say that it was a decent show, but it was really disappointing to say the least. I didn't like the direction of this show. They really didn't feel like they were moving forward in any way. The storylines fell flat. Let's just get right to it, motherfuckers. We start off with Vince McMahon. And boy, oh boy, let me tell you something. These crowds, we haven't had like these uproarious crowds. I remember when it really first started the night after WrestleMania, when we had these crazy crowds that do the wave and, a whole bunch of other bullshit. You've got UK fans mixed in and people from other countries doing all sorts of shit. But they started this after WrestleMania 29. I noticed. When they were at the Izod Center, they started doing all these crazy random chants, messing with the wrestlers and shit like that. And I'm gonna have to say it right now. It's getting fucking annoying. Stop! Holy fucking shit! It didn't click with me. I had said, how I disagreed with Vince Russo and Chris Jericho about this, these crowds just, giving the wrestlers a hard time, And the thing is, watching this show for 3 hours, 3+ hours, made me wake the fuck up already. Sometimes it's just like that, guys. Sometimes it's like, you could be getting hit in the face constantly. And then one day, just watching the show, you just realize this is getting fucking retarded already. Because it started messing with the segments. It started messing with the skits. It started messing with the matches. It started messing with everything. The wrestlers were rattled. So yeah, I see what you're talking about. This hijacking the show. It's one thing when you could say when they hijacked the show with Daniel Bryan. You know, everybody was yes chanting and stuff. That was different. This is just getting to be disruptive. The crowd just doesn't shut up. Most of the time, crowds know how to act. They know when to shut up. They know when to do. This happens all the time on indie shows. But see, the problem, with it being on a bigger platform, a bigger venue, is it's kind of harder to avoid the crowd. At a Ring of Honor show where there's like 200, 300 people there, you can kind of see how the crowd wouldn't be that disruptive. And it's always at least just one or two people, giving the wrestlers a hard time there. Whatever it is, they're drunk or they're just annoying people. But it was funny. And I always thought it was funny. I got exposed to these types of smart mark crowds going to Ring of Honor shows. But McMahon was rattled. Like, he didn't know what the fuck to say, like, half the time. Like, and we would see this later on in the Charlotte promo. But McMahon had more to say. Shane McMahon came out. He wanted to say goodbye. He started walking away. And then Vince McMahon called him back and said, "You're not going to upstage him," because he got big cheers from the crowd. And, the whole crowd started chanting yes, that they wanted him to run the show. McMahon says, "All right, you got it," and just walks off. I got a real problem there. First of all, the crowd fucked up McMahon's promo. Not saying it was going to be a great promo or anything, but it's the Raw after Mania. I want to hear it. The crowd saw to it that we did not. And, it does. And plus, now, to get away from the crowd criticism, that doesn't make any fucking sense. I'm sorry. I know we got what we wanted, but here's the thing. Vince McMahon put Shane in charge of the show. We barely got to see Shane. He announced one match, was seen talking to one wrestler backstage, and that was pretty much it for Shane McMahon. He was talking to Charlotte backstage also before her segment, but you didn't see Shane McMahon making matches in the back. You didn't see Shane McMahon. This whole segment lasted like 10 minutes. Normally, when you had Commissioner Michaels, you had Commissioner Foley, or anybody, Eric Bischoff, you would see them throughout the show. They were like a living, a living, breathing organism through the whole show. You knew that they were there and they were alive and breathing. Here we didn't know what the fuck happened to Shane halfway through the show. Barely seen, barely heard from him. And that was the thing. When they showed him talking to the wrestlers backstage, there was no audio. They weren't mic'd, so it's like, why the fuck are they even showing it? We know he's there, but we'd like to hear him. And also we would expect more from Shane, making some crazy matches and stuff like that. There wasn't really anything too crazy. We had some debuts, we had some returns, but there wasn't really anything out of the ordinary, what you would expect. I mean, you expect Shane McMahon to take over. I have to compare when, like, Commissioner Michaels took over or Mick Foley. You'd see these crazy new match concepts, guys wrestling each other that, you never thought, like, in weird scenarios and stuff. And not to say we didn't get some new matchups tonight, but it didn't feel as fresh as it should have. It didn't feel like we were moving forward, that we were entering into a new era. It kind of felt like a slightly modified one that was pre-WrestleMania. And the thing is, if Vince McMahon hated Shane so much, Shane lost. He even said in his promo, the lockbox is in his possession. There's nothing that he can hold over Vince McMahon's head anymore. Why would he willingly let Shane McMahon run the show? It's like, I don't get it. I really don't. Why would he willingly let Shane run the show? It makes no sense. If McMahon is this tyrannical character. By the way, if you guys can't wait for my reviews, I want to also give you guys my Twitter. I'm active on Twitter again, and I promise I will try to live tweet some more. Be consistent about it, because I live tweeted for almost every single segment that was on Raw. So I'm trying to go with that. It's at the real Mr. Brad. That's my Twitter handle now. I changed it again. I might stick with it. Well, if you're already following me, it won't matter if I change the handle or not. But I'm going to put it down here in the description, I guess, or if I remember to put it there. But anyway, that's what it is. It's at the real Mr. Brad. And, if you guys want to hear my opinions and criticisms and all the other shit that I do in these videos, I'm going to have it up on Twitter the night of. For the people that can't wait till the next day for me to review shit, I thought I should just point that out to you guys if you're interested. So, yeah, this doesn't, I was saying that McMahon is a tyrannical character. So, why the fuck would he let Shane willingly take over the show? He's like, oh, let's just see what you got. I know what they're saying, like, McMahon's making it like a joke. He's just kind of brushing him off in a way. And, and what I didn't get is that Vince McMahon left the building a couple of segments after this. And I'm kind of thinking to myself, so wouldn't Vince want to stick around, especially like this is his show and everything? Or are they just showing that, like in real life, he doesn't give a fuck about the product? He'll just let Shane do whatever he wants to it. But Shane wasn't really that much of a threat to the product. He didn't really do anything out of the ordinary. Maybe McMahon will come back next week and complain about the result of the main event. I'm just saying that Shane, was in a match with The Undertaker that his father forced him into. McMahon wanted The Undertaker to rip Shane apart. He said that his flesh was going to be hanging from the cell. My God, and then he would willingly let him run the show for one night, but he'll probably be there for a long time now, or at least for a couple more Raws, I would believe. Anyway, New Day defeated the League of Nations. This time it was for the tag titles. Um, you know, this match was just really nothing. The story here was that after the match, Sheamus, Rusev, and Alberto Del Rio beat up Wade Barrett. They kicked him out of the League of Nations. And then after that, the Wyatts came out, and this was like the most bizarre thing. So it's like, this is the league segment. They're going to kick out a member. If this was a great heel stable, we would care about this, but we really don't. Barrett's leaving. I guess maybe he'll get one match against Sheamus or something, or maybe that's it for him. I really don't know. They might just be writing him off right there. I saw that he, on the Raw Fallout, he had a response. You could see it on YouTube. But the Wyatt's coming out. This is the problem that I had. So, they beat the shit out of the League of Nations. So, let me get this straight. So, a heel group beats up another heel group. So, I guess the Wyatts are going face here. But here's the thing. The Wyatts had issues with Brock Lesnar. They had issues with John Cena last night. And we're not going to address any of this. No. We're just going to move on to the next segment. We're going to move on to the next thing. Dean Ambrose hits fucking Braun Strowman with a chair a couple of weeks ago. No follow-up to that. In fact, Dean Ambrose wasn't even on the show. One of the biggest matches, the third biggest promoted match, or, perceived to be as such, wasn't, one of the guys wasn't even on the show. Brock Lesnar wasn't there either. Both of them weren't there. But Dean Ambrose is your full-time player who's always on the roster. Always there on Raw. And he wasn't there after Mania. No follow-up for anything to Wyatts. They had so many chances of putting them in programs, and the one that they want to put them in is with the League of Nations. What the fuck are they fucking thinking? See, this is the problem I have here. People saying that this was an awesome show and shit like that because we had a raucous crowd, a fucking raucous crowd, an annoying fucking crowd. We had NXT guys all over the place. But we want to choose to ignore all the fucking bullshit on this show. I said it a long time ago. I am not going fucking easy on them. Because when they have fucking bullshit like this, the logic was out the door in the first half an hour of this show. 2 fucking segments in a row. Where shit just does not make sense at all. Summer Rae's in the ring. She's cutting a promo. Sasha Banks came out. It was pretty much just a squash match. They were trying to reestablish Sasha, whatever. It was okay for what it was. Apollo Crews debuts against Tyler Breeze. I could kind of appreciate this a little bit more than, Neville debuting. Like the way how they debuted Neville, like in a big match. What did Neville debut against Cena or something in the U.S. Open Challenge? It was something like that. It's good to see that they're actually genuinely trying to, create a little bit more of like a debut for these guys, other just than being just a shocking, entry into a match, or they're trying to build up Crews. This was kind of like a squash match for him. And these matches, a lot of times I've seen in the past, they're a little bit more effective for these guys. This way, you come in, and instead of having a big 15-minute match, you just have a 3-minute match. Show what you can do. Apollo Crews looked pretty good. I would have had him do all those, the handspring move that he likes to do, the backflips and shit, just to kind of show people what he's all about, Um, but I guess they want to save that for later. But I thought that would have been a good part of his intro. It was okay for what it was. Apollo Crews, it's kind of like a little bit confusing. He's not exactly the best talent that they have. And he's very similar to Neville in a lot of ways. I mean, the thing is, Neville has a great build too. Crews might be a little bit more cut up, but and Crews is just like a couple of inches taller, really. So I'm not really too sure how Cruz's career is going to turn out here on the main roster, but I guess we'll see. Roman Reigns came out. He says that Shane McMahon is letting him, call out anybody he wants. At first, Reigns was like, "Oh, come on, guys." The whole crowd's booing him, of course. And then he was like, "Listen," he's like, "I'm not a bad guy. I'm not a good guy. I'm the guy." That was a pretty good line. I kind of liked Reigns' attitude a little bit more here. They kind of played it a little bit more safe here, a little bit more to Reigns' comfort zone, which is not much. There's not a lot he seems comfortable doing, which is why he shouldn't even be in this position. But I mean, if they could get more lines out of him like that, things to try to get him to sound cool, try to get him to sound like he's, not a fucking joke. That would be much appreciated. And, I could live with that at least. It wasn't a full-on heel turn. He was acting more heelish. Jericho came to the ring. He was demanding to be put at the front of the line. AJ came out. Sami Zayn, Kevin Owens, everyone came out. And if you notice, fucking Roman Reigns was doing this to Sami Zayn and AJ, like saying, "Oh, please." So that was, something that could be, they could kind of play off that a little bit. You could have Roman Reigns kind of making fun of certain indie guys and everything, kind of like Baron Corbin was doing in NXT. Play a little bit to, the hatred that the fans have for him. I mean, if you're going to keep him around, at least play to his strengths. You've got a tremendous amount of heat on this guy. I mean, it's not even real heat. It's just real hatred. Heat and hatred are two different things, I guess you could say. But since the fans hate this guy so much, it's like an Eva Marie style of hate. I can't even help but wonder if they ever put Eva Marie and Roman Reigns together and have Eva Marie as his valet or some shit. That would just, I don't know. I think the whole building might crumble from the amount of boos that the crowd puts out. But anyway, it was an interesting segment. Shane McMahon in the back in one of his rare appearances tonight put together a fatal four-way. Baron Corbin debuted. He cut a little bit of a promo. Dolph Ziggler came out. This was an all-right match. I would have really preferred to see Baron Corbin get a pinfall on Ziggler. It's like at this point, Ziggler winning or losing, it doesn't really matter. This guy is always just going to come back. It's always going to be an endless cycle with him. But we saw Corbin throw Ziggler into the crowd. He threw him into some shit. And then at ringside, he gets counted out. He gets angry. And then he gives the ended days to Ziggler, which is a really cool looking finisher. And a guy like Ziggler selling it the way he did is definitely something that Corbin's going to benefit from. I like Corbin's look. I like the finisher. I like the theme music. The guy could be something. I mean, he's obviously 6'8". He's definitely got what they're looking for. So if they don't make something big of Corbin, I don't know who they're gonna make. Here's their guy. Corbin is way more impressive than Roman Reigns. Corbin is bigger than Roman Reigns. He might not be as muscular, but he's taller than him. He's actually way taller than fucking Reigns. And I don't know, the guy, to me, Corbin looks like more of a badass than Reigns. So I'm just saying, you notice how things could be easily fixed here. They could give a super push to Corbin, and I think that he could definitely do better than Reigns, for example. You know what I said? There's a bunch of guys that have size and shit like this that can actually talk. Not saying like Corbin's the best talker, but he definitely could wrestle better. He's had better matches than Reigns that he's been directly responsible for. So if they don't do something with a guy like Corbin, then they're not going to do anything with anybody pretty much. Zack Ryder gets in the ring. He cuts a promo. He shows how when he was a kid, he took a picture with Razor Ramon. Razor Ramon let him hold the Intercontinental title. Then they're showing that years later, now Zack Ryder gets to got to give Razor Ramon his Intercontinental title, and then they pose for a picture together. That was pretty awesome. The Miz comes out, and the Miz talks about how it's Ryder's fault that he's not an Intercontinental title, that he's not the Intercontinental champion. Ryder says it sucks for him. Then he challenges him to a match. This was a pretty good match. I mean, you had a lot going on here, a lot of suspense because, most people, including myself, didn't want to see Zack Ryder lose the title. But guess what? He did. I'm not completely annoyed by this. I mean, they didn't really bury him here. People are saying that he was buried. Of course, him losing it the night after, especially what happened to him way back in 2012. But I got a feeling that Ryder might win it back eventually, like at the next pay-per-view or something. But what the real story here was at ringside, you had Zack Ryder's dad. Zack Ryder's dad is in really fucking good shape, by the way. Not only that, but Maurice comes, slaps his dad. Ryder's distracted. Skull crushing finale, and The Miz is the champion. It was a pretty good match. In the shenanigans at ringside, it kind of made sense that Ryder would lose that way. It's kind of cool that they're incorporating his dad. His dad slapped The Miz. It was a pretty good match, but not really happy with him losing it the night after. But this gets a lot of heat on The Miz because Ryder is obviously he's still really over with the crowd. People still really like him. They thought he was really deserving of a title. So I'm not going to shoot it down just yet, but it was a little depressing at the same time. The Vaudevillains are going to be debuting on the on SmackDown this week. Charlotte comes out. It's time. Lita's in the ring. They're going to present her with the women's championship. This is kind of like the same thing they did on the pre-show to Mania, but I guess that was the unveiling. This is kind of like the coronation of giving it to Charlotte. I just want to say one thing, guys. This fucking crowd was fucking annoying as fucking shit. Charlotte's trying to talk, and I know the same thing. I'm not crazy about the women's division. They gave us a good match last night. No, I'm not, balls to the wall on the women's division. I don't go crazy over the women's division. I don't go gaga over the women's division. I'm not some big women's division enthusiast and shit like that. I'm a fan of the name change, but for Christ's sake, could they let her fucking talk? I mean, Charlotte tried to play to the crowd a little bit. She addressed the crowd, but then the crowd just overtook her. And then they started chanting women's wrestling constantly, but it wasn't a normal chant. It was a sarcastic chant. People are probably going to argue with me on this. It wasn't sarcastic. Now you don't like the crowd spread. I know how this is going to go. No, I don't like the crowds now. I said in my reviews, go and check the past couple of years of me doing post-Mania Raws. I said the crowd was fun, it was lively, but tonight it was getting a bit mean-spirited. Charlotte gave us a good match at Mania. She wasn't doing anything wrong. It was a coronation. You had one of your fan favorites there, Lita. And people just start chanting for Bailey. They start chanting for Sasha. It's fucking enough already, all right? Fucking enough already. These loud, boisterous fucking chants. People are going to be like, freedom of speech. Oh, you Nazi. I see the comments already when people try to criticize on the crowd. But the thing is, you never see this on normal show. Even when the crowds were as loud as hell back in the Attitude Era, they still shut their mouths. Even when they would do the what chants, they still weren't as intrusive as what they did to Charlotte. That was fucking disgusting. This crowd was all over every wrestler the whole fucking night. Give me a fucking break. I mean, the thing is, you don't like the segment, okay, but you're making it even worse with all the fucking chants. How about that, huh? How about that fucking shit? What do you think about that? Charlotte barely even got to the point. She got so rattled. And, so it's kind of like, I heard a little bit of what she was trying to say, that, it was all because of her, but the point never really got driven home. All the girls started walking out. Natalia, was left as a challenger. I'm not, the thing is, even though Natalia is a good wrestler, still, we've seen this match already on Raw, Roadblock. I wasn't crazy about it on Roadblock, guys. And, they've thrown her so far down so many rungs on the roster. It's kind of like I look at her now and I don't see her as a viable threat. I'm not trying to be mean or anything here, but because the only thing mean here was the fucking crowd. But she didn't even get to what she wanted to say. That's how fucked up it was. I mean, how are you gonna do that to her? She's just trying to get through a fucking segment, and the crowd wouldn't, is prolonging it even more. Primo and Epico got a vignette. I don't remember the last time I saw a vignette, but Primo and Epico repackaged number 27 or some shit. I don't fucking know. The Matador thing didn't work. Whoa! Who would have thought that wouldn't have worked? Now they're like some Puerto Rican tourists smelling fucking flowers and shit. Get the fuck out of here. Not that Primo and Epico are bad talents, but with all these other guys that they got now, how the hell are Primo and Epico gonna fit into things? The tag team division, they need more teams, I guess, but these kind of seem like goofy characters. We're gonna have these smelling flowers and shit like that. I don't fucking get it, guys. I'm not buying this for a fucking minute. The Dudleys defeated the Usos in a tables match. I'm surprised I haven't seen anybody talk about this shit. I watched some reviews already. They fucked up the finish so fucking horribly. How could anybody not have seen this? Because Bubba Ray addressed it. And I noticed it right away. The Dudleys are both on two tables. The Usos go for their splashes off the top. They roll out of the way. The Usos go through the tables and the bell rings. Bubba Ray starts fucking flipping out. Then the announcers quickly go, "Oh well, you gotta actually put your opponent through the table." Devon quickly throws one of the Usos through a table, and that's pretty much it. They're like, "Oh, now you could ring the bell." Holy fucking shit! What a fuck up! And this is not the first time they've done this. They've done a couple of things like this recently, ringing the bell and shit. You know, how the hell do you fuck this up? This is like an indie show kind of fuck up. I mean, how many times have we seen a table match? Let a timekeeper be at ringside that knows what he's fucking doing. Doesn't he have an earpiece that tells him when to ring the bell? What a fucking idiot. JBL's like, oh, someone should get fired. And yeah. I mean, you think? I mean, this type of shit's been going on and on. Lillian Garcia is now, everyone's on drugs now, apparently. Lillian Garcia used to be a good announcer. Now she keeps fucking things up, fucking up names, fucking up different information. The timekeeper is ringing shit when he's not supposed to. Um, Enzo and Cass debuted. This was a nice debut here with the Dudleys. Enzo was funny on the mic. You really got, if you never saw them before, you knew what they were all about. And, they're a very likable team, is all I can say. Enzo's look is outrageous. It's perfect. It's what, when I say that a guy's got to stand out and shit, in this world of wrestling without, looking like a goofball or some shit. Well, he kind of does look like a goofball, but you get what I mean. The personality, the charisma is oozing off of Enzo. The guy's got a lot going for him, and I'm really excited to see what they've got for these guys. And it seems like it's going to be a program with the Dudleys. This could be an interesting little program. This is a team that people want to see, not the Usos, so this might turn out a lot better. So that was pretty good to see. Next week, it's going to be Dr. Phil. Where the fuck does this come from? I thought they were done with this, this guest host bullshit. Well, he's not hosting Raw, but you get the point. What, in this day and age in 2016, Dr. Phil might still be popular, I think, but what the fuck are they going to do with Dr. Phil? Of all the celebrities they could get, no big action stars, no, get Dr. Phil. They're going to do some goofball comedy skit with this guy. He's not even a real fucking doctor. He doesn't even have a PhD, doesn't have an MD, doesn't have fucking shit. So why the fuck is this guy even on here? What extra ratings do they think they're going to get? Like 3 more people? Oh, Dr. Phil's going to be on a wrestling show. Yeah, that's going to really, really fucking put asses in the seats. The fuck out of here with this fucking shit. Dr. Phil, this is as random as fuck. Where the hell, where do they think of this? Where does McMahon think, what can we do next week? People are unhappy with the product. We're losing ratings. We're going down in flames. I got it. Let's get Dr. Phil. I mean, the fuck is up with that type of decision? That's the type of decision and booking that just makes me lose complete faith in this fucking company. I mean, how am I supposed to feel confident about the future of this company when they're doing shit like this? The main event, it was AJ Cesaro returning. Jericho and Kevin Owens. AJ won the match. Cesaro came out, a cool entrance. He came out James Bond style, or Jason Statham to be a little bit more accurate. Tearaway suit. That was a pretty cool fucking entrance. I would advise WWE to stick with that kind of entrance. He looked pretty fucking awesome. Especially since they have problems with Cesaro in terms of his charisma. because, they haven't given him any type of character or anything, but it is cool to kind of give him that action movie star look if they want to. At least it's something. AJ winning it's kind of cool that we're gonna see AJ and Roman Reigns. I'm a little bit scared that we're gonna see Triple H get involved and it's gonna be a triple threat. Oh my God. Please don't do that. They haven't followed up on so many other things. They really have to follow up on the Triple H rematch cause. For God's sakes, I don't want to fucking see that. That has potential to ruin this match. Especially, they might want to consider of somehow getting around that rematch cause because of the reaction to the match last night, and just not even the people in the building, but the people watching it at home, such as myself. Can we somehow do a little bit of a loophole and get around that fucking shit? Not trying to do double standards here, but don't do a rematch if it sucked that much. I mean, come the fuck on already. And the match with AJ, the Fatal 4-Way, was really good. There was a lot of good action in that match. There was. I would have liked to see maybe Roman spear AJ to get some heat on him, but there was no follow up. But the thing is, guys, not that this was a bad Raw. See, this is my problem. This Raw after Mania was great last year. I really liked that show a lot, but this show just it really it was just it felt flat. It really did. I mean, it felt like an average show, which is better than that. We haven't had a good Raw in fucking months. I mean, I don't think there's been a good Raw all year. Has there? If I do, there might have been like one or two. I think just maybe one or none. But I mean, I'm looking at this. The beginning of the show, it makes no sense. Shane taking over. Why would he take over? Not only that, but Shane McMahon wasn't even shown throughout most of the show. The Wyatt's thing was super confusing there. A lot of these debuts, like, they were good, but the tables match fucked up. Enzo and Cass was great. The main event was great. I liked seeing Corbin, Miz, and Ryder was good. So it's just like average because they fucked up so many things still. Things not making sense. Way too many loose ends not tied up here. And, just it was complete nonsense. And you really didn't get the sense that this company was trying to move forward. And even though Shane was in charge, it really didn't feel like Shane was in charge because nothing really outrageous or crazy was happening. I mean, it kind of felt like just the stuff they had planned anyway. We kind of figured Enzo and Cass was going to show up. We figured that we would get Cesaro at some point or another. It was nothing really too shocking or anything like that. And, it was just average because there was still a lot of fucking bullshit on the show. A lot of dumb crap. And not only that, but seriously, the crowd was interfering with this fucking show. And it was getting fucking nonsensical after a while. I mean, they completely fucking butchered the women's segment. I mean, they seriously, honestly did. They were ruining the opening promo from McMahon. They were fucking chanting like crazy, chanting nonsense that doesn't... the thing is, I'm even guilty of that. Going to the Barclays Center, doing random chants and shit like that, but not to that level. I mean, holy fucking shit. I mean, they really just kind of shitted all over the fucking show. Shat all over it, I guess you could say. And yeah, these crowds are getting that fucking out of hand already. The thing is, if you don't like the show and it's that shitty and you feel the need to act that way, then sit the fuck home. WWE is going to have poor box office revenue, and, they might change due to that. But, of course, they got a sold out fucking crowd and they're just interfering. It like makes no sense. And it's just getting ridiculous. And I know I'm gonna get a lot of heat for that. I know I'm gonna get flamed here on YouTube for defending the WWE. But the thing is, I'm watching this show. I want to watch it to be entertained by the content, not by the fucking crowd. And the crowd is interfering with my enjoyment of the show. No, motherfuckers. I don't like that one bit. All right, it was an okay show. It was decent, but there are still a lot of problems here that they need to address. And, I'm kind of losing hope here, guys, because I really expected a little bit more from this show, as I was saying in my previous videos. All right, motherfuckers.